Have you ever been playing a good old game of Super Mario Brothers and you stomp a Koopa? Wait a second, something's missing here. Ah, much better. Damage numbers. My favorite way of knowing I'm doing absolutely nothing. Everyone has that one element of a video game that they are just autistically infatuated by. Come on, guys, right? Just me? For me, it's always been damage numbers. Those pesky little digits that show up when you deal damage. I know, a lot of you are probably asking why damage numbers, of all things, matter so much. And to that I ask you, what are the hypest moments in gaming you have active control over?
Number 1.
This streamer pulled a hitter on Genshin Impact. Okay, well, other than that, hypest moment right there. Sure, video game cutscenes will always be the hypest moments most of the time, but again, when it comes to things you can control, those moments are probably due to seeing a freaking huge damage number. So anyway, enough validating myself and my interests. Let's talk about what makes a good damage number and go over some examples of some interesting ones. And I bet you think I didn't come prepared either. Well, I'll tell you what, I know a thing or two about these damage numbers. Yep, I'll tell you what the first one was too. Give me just 1 second. Blah, 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 blah. Reddit? What the Dragon Warrior. Yeah, Where the fuck are the numbers? Oh, well, those are certainly numbers. Okay, for real. Let's start with the best-selling video game of all time, Minecraft. On its own, Minecraft has no damage numbers, but does anyone remember that old mod called Damage Indicators? I feel like everyone used this mod for a bit there back in the day, but do the damage numbers hold up? There were numbers? So it's been a bit since I've used this mod, but I gotta say, these numbers are actually a bit cuter than I remember them being. They actually like fall. Another really cute touch or thing that they do is they use the classic Minecraft font. I feel like mods these days would probably stray away from using the Minecraft font and would instead use their own custom font or something. So overall, these damage numbers are pretty basic, but they're less basic than I remember them being, so it scores points for that. So after checking out Minecraft's damage numbers, the only logical step is to check 2D Minecraft's damage numbers. Terraria! And yes, I said Terraria like a fucking British person. Deal with it. Now here's the good news. You don't need a mod for Terraria to have damage numbers. Yep, they're in the base game this time. And these are, well, they're certainly numbers. Normal damage numbers you deal to enemies are this light orange color, and they don't really do much. They just kind of pop up, and that's about it. Pretty basic font, too. Now, to me, an interesting thing about the Terraria damage numbers are how they change slightly depending on the damage type. While the normal light orange ones are a bit meh, critical damage numbers are far more satisfying. Crit damage numbers are a much darker orange, and they flash and flicker a little bit. Pretty satisfying. And yes, flickering and flashing is another thing that gets my autism brain going. Like, have you ever seen the ending of FNAF 6 when the when the temperature is flashing? That gets me going. Also, another cool thing that I'm sure the damage indicators mod did too, but I'm too lazy to check, is that friendly damage is another different type of damage number. Friendly damage, including damage to your character, is this bright red color that really gets your attention. Probably because you're dying. Anyway, I do like Terraria's damage number, but they're extra cool to look at when you're doing some late game damage and they're popping up all over the place. Except for when they're red. I dislike when they're red. Well, hey, it's everyone's favorite mediocre third-person shooter that they love to hate and hate to love, Fortnite. So as you may know, Fortnite's pretty cartoony. I'd be concerned if it wasn't. They also have an age rating they have to uphold, so of course, there's no blood in Fortnite. I guess. Now, violence, that's fair game. But uh-oh, how do you signify you're doing damage to your opponents if they're not allowed to do a big old splatter of red? I guess these will do. Fortnite has probably the lamest damage numbers. Lame font, lame pop-in effect, lame fade out. They stack in this list-like format if you do damage quickly, and it honestly looks really stupid. Yeah, these are probably some of my least favorite damage numbers in a modern video game. They suck. Period. But it wasn't always this way, damn it. I love when it does that. You see, when Fortnite Battle Royale first launched in 2017, the game had this funny little thing called an art style. Forgive me if I sound like a Fort boomer right now. Anyway, the game was a lot more consistently cartoony. Now we have things that look like this. And we used to have things that looked like this. We used to have this. And now we have this. Anyway, back on topic. Damage numbers. Up until Fortnite Chapter 4, Fortnite had these damage numbers. these are probably some of my favorite damage numbers, to the point where I have no clue why they would have ever changed them. These damage numbers are really satisfying to look at because they split apart. Literally, the left and the right side of the damage numbers split apart and they fall away from each other. That's not to even mention the pop-in effect. It's so striking. Hitting shots felt great in Fortnite. Now the good news is, when they brought the Fortnite OG mode into the game, they actually put the original damage numbers back in the game. This is actual footage of me finding out they put the original damage numbers in Fortnite OG. Did they add the OG damage numbers? Yes! RPGs. These games live and die by damage numbers, as that's just how these types of games work. From the flashy like Persona 5s, to the basic like Undertale, to the unique like Paper Mario and its damage number in a starburst. RPGs are so fun because you get to see how much damage you've done to an enemy. The flashier the better, I say. RPGs really want to hook you in and make sure you don't get bored at looking at numbers, right? That's all RPGs are, like numbers. Math. I kid, of course, but I hope I make it clear that RPGs, they gotta have some nice damage numbers. On an unrelated note, Pokemon has no damage numbers. Yep. Must be why I don't like Pokemon very much. Man, I'm shallow. But that was 1998, and now it's 2026. Let's check out their more recent game. Oh, come on! 7 years later, and this gameplay looks the exact same. It just runs worse now. Oh, look, guys, I found the damage numbers. But maybe that's just how it goes. That's their vision, you know? Not every game needs to be the same, and not every game needs damage numbers. I guess I just need to accept that Pokemon be how Pokemon is. Wait a f***ing second. Run that back! Oh my god. Everyone, Pokemon Rumble has damage numbers.
Whoa, this is worthless.
Alright, as a final thing I want to show you guys, I bet you're thinking, where's your degree in damage numbers, huh? I bet you haven't made damage numbers before, and you'd be, kind of right. I mean, technically I've never released a game with damage numbers before, but I tinker. Okay, first up is Preston 2, a little sequel to my first Preston-based game, and yes, this is the game where you get to shoot the f*** out of the President of the United States, and that's protected under my First Amendment. See, some people really out here wasting their First Amendment, when in reality you get to do fun shit like this. Let me just make sure this is protected real quick. Okay, I kid. Probably. Anyway, let's get back on track here. Damage numbers. These damage numbers have a cool font and change color. They start out white but fade to a random color. They also spin a little bit, so that's cool. Player damage numbers, as in damage to your player, always fades to red instead of a random color. Also, if you were vulnerable when you got hit, you took damage right after your air dodge, your damage number will flash and have an exclamation point. True story, I almost removed the exclamation point because I didn't want to end up on r/unexpected factorial. Anyway, real quick, here's the other damage number from a game I made I wanted to show you. Boom! Boom! Yep, it's a Fortnite clone. I wasn't kidding about loving those Fortnite damage numbers. Anyway, I think that's enough yapping about stuff that doesn't matter. Sorry the video got a little derailed by the end there, but seriously, let me know some of your favorite damage numbers in the comments. And that's not me asking for engagement, by the way, like most YouTubers. I am genuinely asking for more cool damage numbers to look at. But as for now, I guess that's enough damage number talk. Thanks for watching.